and whose dignity has been repeatedly auctioned off at the altar of foreign interests. Africa is not Tobago. Africa is not a battlefield. Africa is not your experiment, your puppet, your warehouse of raw materials. Africa is rising not to kneel, but to stand. And today I say before this great assembly of nations, Africa will not kneel. One on the false generosity of global politics. For decades you've sent us aid with one hand while extracting our lifeblood with the other. You build wells in our villages while your corporations drain our rivers. You donate vaccines yet patent the cures. You speak of climate action yet continue to fund the very forces that burn our forests and dry our lakes. What kind of generosity is this? The kind that feeds the mouth but silences the voice. The kind that keeps a man alive just enough to keep him dependent. We are not blind to this hypocrisy. Let me be clear, we are not ungrateful for sincere humanitarian assistance, but we reject a global order that disguises exploitation as partnership. We reject financial institutions that lend with one hand and steal sovereignty with the other. Africa no longer wants charity. We want justice. We want control over our own destinies. Too on the chains of colonialism and its modern descendants. Our wounds did not begin with us. They were inherited legacies of an empire-building madness that saw us not as humans, but chief as cargo labor tools. My ancestors were not consulted when maps were drawn with rulers and compasses in Berlin. The borders of Burkina Faso, like those of many African nations, were not carved by our ancestors, but by men who had never stepped foot on our soil, who knew nothing about languages, our tribes, or our spirits. Today, colonialism has a new face. It wears suits, it hosts forums, it signs contracts in Geneva and Paris and Washington. But it still takes without consent. It still dictates instead of dialogues. It still silences instead of listening. If you want to talk about peace, then let's begin by unlearning the arrogance that peace is something only you can teach us. 3, on resource exploitation and the myth of development. They call us developing as if the theft of centuries did not set us back. As if the gold from our lands, the diamonds from our rivers, the oil beneath our feet did not build the very skyscrapers in which this assembly sits. Let us speak plainly. Burkina Faso is rich, Africa is rich. Rich in minerals and culture and wisdom and youth. But you have taught us to measure richness in GDP and export value. You call it development when a foreign company owns 90% of a gold mine on our land. You call it progress when your security forces guard cobalt mines but not our children's schools. That is not progress, that is piracy with legal documents. From now on, we will define development on our own terms. Development that puts children in classrooms, not minerals on cargo ships. Development that respects the land, the people, and the soul of a nation. 4, on sovereignty and interference. Why is it that when an African nation makes independent choices, we are called unstable? Why is it that when we seek military cooperation outside the colonial sphere, we are labeled a threat? Burkina Faso has chosen to walk a path of sovereignty that is not a threat to peace. It is a declaration of adulthood. We are no longer under your guardianship. We are no longer your junior partners in diplomacy. We are a free people. If a nation chooses partners that respect it rather than exploit it, that is not rebellion. That is wisdom. Let it be known, no foreign power will dictate the alliances of Burkina Faso. We will build relations based on mutual respect, not historical guilt or present-day intimidation. 5, on terrorism and manufacture wars. You ask why there is violence in the Sahel. You ask why our youth take up arms. But you do not ask who benefits when our mines are guarded by private mercenaries, while our villages are left vulnerable. You do not ask how weapons arrive in deserts that produce no steel. You do not ask why peacekeeping never seems to end the war. The truth is, many of the so-called solutions to African security problems are merely business models. Endless conflict has become a market, and African suffering has become a subscription-based service. Burkina Faso has decided to break that cycle. We will fight terror, but not with dependency. We will secure our nation not with foreign dictates, but with national dignity. 6, on migration and human dignity. We do not want our youth drowning in the Mediterranean. We do not want our brightest minds fleeing to countries that once called us savages. We do not want remittances. We want reasons for our people to stay. Why do our youth flee? Not because we lack beauty, but because we are made to lack opportunity. Not because we hate our land, but because our land is treated as someone else's property. Migration is not a crisis, it is a symptom of wars we did not start, of loans we did not need, of a world order that tells our youth their only value lies outside their own homes. The solution is not border fences. The solution is justice. For 7 on Africa's place in the world. Africa is not a mistake to be fixed. Africa is not a failed continent. Africa is the womb of the world, the cradle of civilization, the keeper of tomorrow's hope. We have been made invisible in global decisions that affect us deeply. At the UN Security Council, Africa with 54 sovereign nations has no permanent seat. What justice is this? You call it balance? We call it betrayal. You speak of democracy, yet uphold a global structure where the powerful few veto the dreams of the many. We will no longer whisper in rooms where we deserve to speak with full voice. Aid on faith and spiritual dignity. We are a spiritual people. Before your cathedrals, our ancestors sang to the sky. Before your missionaries, we knew the language of the rivers and the laws of the sacred forest. Christianity came, Islam came, and we received them not as slaves, but as seekers. But now we ask, will the church and the mosque stand with us, truly with us, when all people are displaced by greed, masked as globalization? Will your pulpits echo our cries or only repeat the songs of the powerful? Faith, too, must be decolonized. It must walk with the poor, not the privileged. 9, on unity among African nations. This is not a speech from one country. This is the stirring of a continent. You see Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso forming a new bond. You fear our unity. Why? Because it threatens the myth that Africa can only rise under your supervision. We are uniting not to wage war, but to wage dignity, to pool our courage, to share strength, to protect each other when the world turns its back. Pan-Africanism is not a dream. It is our lifeline, and we will build it stone by stone, heart by heart, with or without your approval. 10, to the youth of Africa, to the young boy selling oranges by the roadside, to the girl who walks 10 kilometers to attend school, to the child whose only toy is a stone but who dreams of stars. You are the reason we fight. Do not believe the lie that your continent is cursed. You are the blessing. Do not envy foreign passports. Be proud of your name, your land, your roots. The world may not applaud you now, but the future will speak your name in honor. 11 final words we will not kneel. I do not come to declare war, I come to declare will. So we will not kneel to fear. We will not kneel to foreign banks. We will not kneel to outdated empires masquerading as friends. Africa is not asking for a seat at your table. We are building our own a table where no child eats last, where no nation is silenced because it lacks nuclear arms, where justice is not filtered through the lens of race or history, but shared as breath is shared. This is our vision and this is our vow. Let the world hear it today and always. Africa will not kneel. Thank you, honorable delegates, heads of state, leaders of nations, distinguished representatives of peoples great and small. I greet you not as a career diplomat, nor as a man bred for banquet halls and handshakes. I do not come to you speaking the rehearsed language of polished politics. I come to you as a soldier of my people, as a guardian of a wounded land, as a son of a continent that has carried the cross of the world, yet has never worn its crown. My name is Captain Ibrahim Traore, President of Burkina Faso, and today I speak not only for the 22 million souls in my nation, but for a continent whose stories have been twisted, whose pain has been ignored, and whose dignity has been repeatedly auctioned off at the altar of foreign interests. Africa is not Tobago. Africa is not a battlefield. Africa is not your experiment, your puppet, your warehouse of raw materials. Africa is rising not to kneel, but to stand. And today I say before this great assembly of nations, Africa will not kneel. One, on the false generosity of global politics. For decades, you've sent us aid with one hand while extracting our lifeblood with the other. You build wells in our villages while your corporations drain our rivers. You donate vaccines, yet patent the cures. You speak of climate action, yet continue to fund the very forces that burn our forests and dry our lakes. What kind of generosity is this? The kind that feeds the mouth but silences the voice. The kind that keeps a man alive just enough to keep him dependent. We are not...
That's the powerful voice of one of Africa's powerful leaders in person of Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso. So this is our love to officially welcome you this afternoon to the afternoon conversation. It's where we exchange ideas for the common good of our beloved country and ourselves. We hold all to our nation, Mama Liberia, as sons and daughters in our respective capacities. Let us do all we can to put smile on Mama Liberia's face, because in union strong success is sure. With God above our rights to prove, we over all prevail. With hearts and hands our country costs defending, we meet the full with valor unpretending. My name is Rufus Devon Cunning. I'm pretty seated from now up to 3:30. So for the very best, in today's edition, we're going to be looking at the importance of the strategic importance of a United Nations Security Council seat for Liberia. As you all know, today is the elections, and I'm of the strongest conviction it is done and dusted. Liberia will definitely have that to herself, but we will be taking you through some historical facts and the importance that is attached to Liberia having that seat. And on the flip side, 2:30, we hope to play host to the CEO and founder of Sweat Equity Lab. He's no other than Dr. PITMAN Kennedy, who just returned from the USA. He's here for several reasons. He's going to be telling us why his visit. He's going to be meeting with students. He's going to be having some sessions with great young people of this land through his Sweat Equity Lab programs. So let me take you through, like I said, on this issue that has to do with the strategic importance of a United Nations Security Council seat for Liberia. One of the importance here is enhanced diplomatic visibility and influence. Liberia bid for a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Council Security Council is a significant endeavor with far-reaching implications for the nation's foreign policy, development, and global standing. The United Nations Security Council is the most powerful body within the United Nations, responsible for maintaining international peace and security. A seat on the United a seat on the council offers Liberia a unique opportunity to influence global decisions, enhance its diplomatic presence, and drive domestic progress. All right. So let's get you more details. Opportunities for the domestic progress. A United Nations Security Council seat will significantly enhance Liberia's diplomatic visibility on the global stage. In today's world of economy diplomacy, this visibility is crucial for attracting foreign direct investment, fostering bilateral cooperation, and projecting Liberia as a politically stable and mature country. The increased visibility can also lead to international donors prioritizing Liberia for funding and technical assistance, boosting infrastructure projects, business development, and economic activities. Liberia's historical and contemporary relationship with the United Nations reflects a unique fusion of resilience, moral leadership, and internationalism, making its credentials timely, strategic, and symbolically powerful. The benefits of the United Nations Security Council seat extends beyond diplomacy, potentially producing real outcomes for the Liberian people. Increased foreign-backed initiatives may lead to job creation in key sectors such as agriculture, construction, tourism, and digital technology. Youth empowerment, a pressing issue in Liberia. could be addressed through expanded economic opportunities driven by global partnerships. Furthermore, occupying a seat on the Security Council will place Liberia under international scrutiny regarding governance, pushing the government to enact much needed reforms, strengthen anti corruption efforts, and improve public accountability. Contribution to global peace and security. So these are thematic areas I try to highlight so that you get to know the importance for the bid of this non-permanent seat at the Security Council, United Nations Security Council. All right. So our contribution to global peace and security. Liberia, having benefited from United Nations peacekeeping missions in its recent history, is uniquely positioned to contribute meaningfully to global conversations on peace building and conflict resolution. With experience in democratic transition and post conflict recovery, Liberia can offer valuable insight into peace processes and institutional rebuilding. As a member of ECOWAS and the Mano River Union, Liberia could use its United Nations Security Council seat to strengthen regional integration and peace efforts, serving as a diplomatic bridge amongst West African nations. Liberia's voice on the Security Council will amplify the need of countries where poverty, governance deficits, and climate change fuels insecurity. So, from a historical context and Liberia role, the key priority and focus areas has to do with Liberia's historical role in the formation of the United Nations and its contribution to international peace and security are significant. As one of the founding members of the United Nations, Liberia has consistently demonstrated its dedication to peace building, sustainable development, and democratic elections. Liberia's early involvement in the League of Nations and later the United Nations signal Africa's rightful place in global governance and peace diplomacy. Liberia has transitioned from a recipient of peacekeeping to a contributor deploying troops to regional and UN missions. Some challenges and considerations. Liberia plans to champion several thematic priorities on the Security Council, including post conflict peace building, conflict prevention and mitigation, humanitarian coordination, promotion of justice and human rights, climate security, and the women, peace and security, and youth, peace and security agendas. Liberia's voice on the Security Council will amplify the needs of countries where poverty, governance deficit, and climate change fuel insecurity. While the potential benefits are significant, challenges exist. These include the allocation of resources for a robust diplomatic campaign and the potential for limited influence due to the veto power of permanent members. Liberia, as a developing country, may face challenges in maintaining a robust diplomatic presence, and fulfilling the demanding duties of a Security Council member. So, for those of you who did not know or you just heard about, oh, Liberia bidding for the non permanent seat there at the United Nations, what do you got to eye on us? That's why we thought it wise to bring to you these details outlining the benefits that comes with Liberia getting that seat at the Security Council, the United Nations Security Council. All right. So, with that being said, look around you. For some of you who did not know the importance of getting that seat, now you can take the information across to some of your friends who did not know, like you, but now you know. That's why we say the media plays a pivotal role. The media plays a pivotal role in every country. The media plays a pivotal role in our society. We should be there to get the information to the people. Where people struggle to understand things, we should be available to make it plain and understandable. We shouldn't be used as a tool to instill violence or create a scene that will put the people in turmoil. So I encourage all of our media practitioners, my media colleagues, media houses, to change the course of action. We know that everyone will not be a praise sinker. We know everyone will not go the way others, quote unquote, are going. But for the country, all of us, we are referred to as Liberian. No matter where we go, no matter where we go and naturalize ourselves, you will always be referred to as a Liberian American, a Liberian Nigerian. That Liberian name will never depart from you. So you go north, south, east, and west, you always have a place to come back home. Like you listen to the Burkina Faso youthful president. He made it plain. He said a lot. And subsequently, we will replay you that tape for those of you who did not listen. It's time that we rise up and have that voice. It's time that we leave from the backstage to come in front and make the decision. We have all of the meager resources. We need that togetherness. And I believe strongly Liberia will rise. Liberia will shine. Liberia will prosper. And that all of us will benefit from the prosperity of the motherland. So all we need to do, play our parts. Be that agent of change. And don't be an agent of division. Don't be used as a tool to instill violence. Don't be used as a tool to cause confusion. This is our only land that we have, that we cannot be deported from as sons and daughters. How do you feel when you sit on your platforms and spell out misinformation and disinformation? How do you feel? Let us leave this party sentiments. Let us focus on the whole, which is Mama Liberia. The transformation of Mama Liberia depends on us. And we should play the liberal role. As media practitioners, we should play the lead role. We should champion the cause with information that will transform the minds. Like I always say to people, when the minds are developed, the eyes going to appreciate the voice of the hands. When we tend to pollute the minds of the people, what we're doing to ourselves. We are shooting ourselves in the leg, because when the people start to agitate for wrongful reasons, at the end of the day, you and I will bear the brunt of our actions. We will bear the brunt of our actions. So we need to come to the point to understand that whatever we do has a direct effect on us. Today, you think that you have the platform to spread misinformation and disinformation, all because of your political interests. But you will get to know that at the end of it all, the brunt of your action, you may not directly be affected, but a family member of yours, your children's children, will get the brunt of your action. Your children's children, your generation from now and generations to come will reap from that actions of yours that you took way back. Posterity should judge you in a positive way and not a negative way. Not because you have the platform and you have the audience given you, so because of your political attachment, you get to abuse the minds of the people in a negative way so that you put them at loggerhead with the leadership. You can criticize, but in your criticism, constructively make recommendations for transformation. Like I said the last time, if you think that as an opposition, you have the ability to work out modality that will actually curb some of the ills in the society, when you shall have taken power, I tell you no lie. Every day that comes and go, the things are moving ahead. People are moving ahead. Things are developing. The world is evolving. So if you think that, okay, since at this moment we know that things are quote unquote difficult, and you have the idea to remedy the situation, you say that, hey, how can we get it? People idea? I will sit down there. And the people you want to lead suffer while you sit there and have the idea. And as the people suffer, they get immune to that suffering, and they develop themselves within the suffering, embrace themselves for onward development. Your ideology, your strategy you had to remedy the situation at the time, when the time comes, it will be arcade. When the time comes, if you think that, okay, since we withheld all of the strategy that we should have employed to get the people living the better life, to get the people surviving and living the best of life, because we do not want the establishment, the ruling establishment, to remain in power, so we withhold all of the ideas. Come on, you are missing it. So these are things that are happening. Back when the Unity Party found themselves in opposition, they saw to themselves that they had the strategy to put mechanism in place to remedy the situation that was at hand when the CDC-led government was in sight. But later they didn't know. By withholding those ideas and not coming up to work and make this situation come to a standstill, so that the people for whom they want to serve can get relief, they held all factor constant. We went to elections. Now you are at the helm of power. Those ideas that you had to implore so that transformation can take place, they are now arcade. You have a new breed of people with different mentality. The mentality they had yesterday is different from what they have today. So the challenges are enormous. Every dispensation has its own. So if you now that find yourself in opposition think you can withhold whatever transformation key so that you can use that means to get to power, the minds of the people are developing. The things that they used to see as so difficult will now become something that they have gotten used to. And I'm at the point right now, I've come to understand us Liberians, we are quick to adapt ourselves to situation. Now you have people crying around, oh, things are hard and things are this. Sooner or later, we will adapt ourselves to the system and we move ahead. And that will become a history. So you who have the idea now to cause the level of transformation that is needed, if you withhold your idea and say, I will wait until we come to power before we start to implement, you'll be wasting your time. The people system have gotten so immune to whatever situation they find themselves going through. So they are moving ahead. It no longer becomes a challenge for them. It becomes a way of life. So in so doing, as a government, you should have a listening ears. No matter how the critics may put it, have a listening ears. Listen, and you can catalog all of those criticism, and there are facts that can be formed. Work on those ones that are factual for transformation, and you continue to build on your platform, build on those things that you have promised the Liberian people. That's why we said this morning, it is about time that all hands get on deck. In no time for pageantry. Liberia is at the point where development should be holistic. So if we are holistic in our developmental agenda, everyone, every sector of our society must feel a part of the development. Every sector, every spectrum of the society should feel a part of the development. So reaching out to them, getting to hear from them, what are the challenges? How can we remedy the situation? And when these people have been reached to, they made their recommendation, and those recommendations are adhered to, they feel a part of the developmental agenda of your leadership. But if you say that, oh, we'll do what we're able to do in our reach, and at the end of the day, when the appointed time comes, the people will make the decision. And when they made a decision, that decision either retain you or relieve you of your post. So wherever you are, however you're listening, like we said, in today's edition, we will be playing host to Dr. Pittman Kennedy. He's going to be talking more about his visit to Liberia and his engagement with the people, the young people. He believes in the young people. He's one person that believes in the young people and the aspiration of the young people. So he engaged the young people in diverse ways. There's a planned meeting with students of the University of Liberia. There's a planned activity with young athletes. So he's going to be telling us more. He's in our studios. With how much we do, we are humbled at this moment to, again, he's not a stranger to this platform, but he's back again on a visit to the motherland. He's based there in the USA. He's the CEO and founder of Sweat Equity Lab. Dad, welcome.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Wonderful.
It's great to be here.
Yeah.
Always an exciting time to be in Liberia and to be in studio with you. And I always applaud your work and your contributions to the growth and development of our great nation. Um, Sometimes people don't understand the impact of the media guys, and especially guys that are, non-political, apolitical, but you're continuously informing the public and contributing things of good. So I'm always going to applaud your work and your effort. So I'm excited to be here.
We are grateful. So how is since you came? How you been with you?
Been busy,
The
man.
organic food and other stuff.
Woo! Man, one of the best things, there's two things that I always look forward to when I come to Liberia. The beach, the natural blessings of the beach, the coastline that we have, and the food.
Oh, wow.
The organic nature of the food is so appealing and appeasing and appetizing, and it makes you gain weight, but it's all good. We'll fix that later.
How's the sweat equity line?
Oh man, we've expanded our reach, our capacity, and we are excitingly growing in our impact, I would say, and I love it. And I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about where we at. I'm excited about my team, and just it's a great place to be right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your visit to Liberia, you care to drill us through? We know that you have some meeting with university students and so forth. You care to drill us through?
Yeah. So it's a short trip this time, but very impactful. It's compacted with a lot of events. In fact, we have this morning we were at a school. We're at a little school, elementary school, that invited us impromptu, so we didn't miss the opportunity because our young people.
Okay.
You just never know who's going to be at that point of need. So when the call was made, we had to put in time. So we went to a Children of God elementary school. It's in Peace Island. That's my first time going to Peace Island.
Okay.
And before I get to the other things, I just want to just point to what they're doing over there. And there's so many little schools in the same capacity, the same build up, and you have children that are in school just striving to get an education, and on an empty belly, empty stomachs.
Wow.
Yeah, and sometimes they have to come outside the building just to get taught because you don't have the room and the space. So we are in dire straits. I've said this before, and our children need more from us to at least give them the environment to where they can learn and get better. So I was at that little school, and I think I had maybe no more than 30 students across the board. But it was necessary for me to be there and to speak to them and at least give them hope. Obviously we always give them scholarships, so we give them 5 scholarships for the next year, and we donated some funds to the school as well, and also provided at least breakfast for them tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Because about half of the class did not eat breakfast this morning, and when we asked for the show of hand. Rufus, there's so much going on. Things are happening fast, and so many of our young people are getting lost in the shuffle because things are happening fast. I met a young man this morning. He's 18 years old, in the 7th grade, and I asked him, actually, what are you doing in school? At that grade. Not to demean him, but just to see what his thought process was. And he said, "My family never done it. I just want to do it." So I asked him who he lived with, his auntie, who's taking care of him, his food and everything. He said himself. How? I think he said he do mill something, steel mill work or something like that. So I asked the principal, and he said, "Yeah, he's true. He's been honest, and that's what he do. He's 18 years old. Didn't have the opportunity to go to school early on, but he's trying to still go." So guys like that, we got to find them something to help them. And I'm not talking about money, but that beacon of hope, that connective tissue to keep him in school to get the education, but at the same time help maybe incentivize him on the business side and make sure that because his chances of being successful in business versus taking the academic route is probably more positive in on the business side. So presents a special case, and we have to not uh get rid of him. We got to adopt him, and so we got him under the umbrella. But that was an example, a very unique one as well. So we go into LU tomorrow, the Fender campus, University of Liberia, say UL. The Agriculture Extension Department is hosting a professional development day, and I will be speaking to them tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to it because one of my challenge, and I think it's the challenge of the nation, is to help our young people to think outside the box. I call it to decontainerize their minds to where they understand that there is hope outside of government job. There's hope outside of the public sector work. There's so much opportunities in becoming an entrepreneur, building yourself, building your capacity, and not waiting every 6 years to see who's going to change at the top in that small portion of people that lead the government, and not to tie your hope to that, not to tie your future to that, but to continuously evolve as an individual and build coalitions that are going to help cultivate your development. So I want our young people to start understanding that so we can start to shape this mindset and redirect them to where they say, look, especially for this group, because this group is agriculture and the nation's wealth lies in its soil. So they need to understand what they have at their disposal, and let's use that and think entrepreneurship. Let's think positive collaboration. Let's think building yourself up, building your capacity. Because if you wait for the government to provide it, it's not going to happen. It hasn't happened in 170 some years. Not getting ready to happen tomorrow. So we got to find alternate routes to becoming successful. So we're looking forward to that conversation tomorrow.
It's so important that students at the University of Liberia chose to put that idea together to have people like you speaking to them because, mind you, at the level of the University of Liberia, they were interested to know that the issue of militancy
Mm-hmm.
have taken the minds of the young folks that are there. They believe the only way things can happen for them unless they get involved with violence,
Yeah. And
boycotting classes, causing all sort of trouble on campus to get the attention of the authority. Is that the way? So at that level, with such, I mean, it would be very important if some of them would want to use this medium to even call on some of you who are not even in that area of agriculture to go and listen. Because the idea that will be brought forth, you can actually tap into it and better your life. You may be in the science area, but agriculture has no limit.
that's correct. You're
You can
absolutely
be
correct.
you can be in the art sector. You have means of getting food from the soil.
Absolutely.
So go ahead.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't think that violence is always the key. I don't even think it is the key. It's the solution. I think that, but one of the reasons that we see a lot of rebellion and violence and those type of behaviors is because our people lacked the avenues and the opportunities to help inform their minds of positive alternatives. We used to say monkey see, monkey do. We've seen and grown in an environment in a society that's very hostile. You see that all the time. You
Mhm.
just listen to the noise, the tension, the environment of the tension is the tension of the environment is heightened every single day. And people are fighting over simple things. You see that all the time from the just moving through the streets. It's always a contentious situation. It's almost like everybody is so angry and so frustrated and very short tempered. So there's everybody always bickering. So I mean, all the only difference with that and what happening at the university is just that it's more concentrated in groups now, so they can be more focused in that. But you are absolutely right. I think what we should be doing is trying to give positive avenues to our people. Don't get me wrong. This civil disobedience is always okay, right? But violent acts and those types of things and impeding somebody else's ability to learn, that's when we start to cross the line. So we just got to be cognizant of that. But basically, our young people need good mentors and leaders to keep talking to them about alternative routes that is going to be positive and help them achieve success. Because albeit we are in a country that's faced, and I'll be honest, yes, in the top 10 poorest country in the world, the object of poverty is real, no matter how you look at it. But having said that, poverty is a state of mind, brother. You know what I mean? You can relegate yourself to that, or you can build yourself off of that, all about how you think. So we have to teach our people that you have to create that environment that you want and not wait for anybody else to give it to you. No change that's going to satisfy you is going to come from outside of you. You are going to waste your time looking for that to happen. Any change that you want to see must come from inside of you. I will say this and I will say it again. If you don't change the way you think, then you are going to not change the way you act. And if you don't change the way you act, you are going to stay in the same state of affairs of your life. So if you want to change your life, start by changing the way you think. And questions may be asked, well, how do I change the way I think? Just the things that you subscribe to, the things that you do every day. Are you an honest person? Are you a person with high work ethic? Do you have good character? I can't answer that. Rufus, you can't answer that. Every one of us have to answer that for ourselves. That's a question that between you and yourself. And if you can answer those questions honestly and pass those tests, then you're doing something good. And the reason I say honestly, because if you have a problem with being lazy, then you need to address that problem. You're not going to succeed being lazy. If you have a problem with character, you're going to struggle with that. Success does not align with those things. Yes, it's going to be tough. And I told the kids this morning in the school, I said, yes, there's going to be days you're going to be hungry. Yes, there's going to be days things are going to be tough, but you must do your very best as a human being every single day in all areas for you to arrive at something that looks close to success.
You have a meeting come the 6th to the 7th with the YMCA.
Yeah.
You care to drill us through?
Yeah, so we're gonna be doing a 2 days basketball clinic for the young people. We got the boys, high school boys, and then we have high school girls, and then we have the junior kids, elementary and junior high school kids. So we're able to touch those three groups of people. And remember now, this is a short time mid-year. We're on the ground, but we don't like to miss an opportunity when we come home. It's so hard to do the things that I like to do for our young people on a repeated basis. So every time I get a chance to come home, I try to compact the schedule with those opportunities. And teaching basketball is my passion, and I love it. And I do that in the United States. Actually, I run a business in the United States where people pay me to teach young people basketball. And I use basketball as a means to develop other areas because it's through basketball teaching I encourage discipline such like attitude, having a positive attitude, building character. So I use that platform and that medium to teach holistically. And so when I come home, I try to not miss the mark on trying to get young people together and putting them in the gym and teaching them basketball, but also at the same time helping them to modify their character, their behavior, their work ethic. Um, in doing so, maybe we may spot one or two scholarship students as well that we may be able to build and grow with.
Over the time, you've been providing scholarships to deserving students And now that, if we may ask, what's your own reception as it relates to the output of those students that you provide aid to? In terms of, are they doing well? You can be spending your money, and you can find that result, that desired result. So how do you feel? What's the output from those students that you are contributing to their education?
So that's a very good question, and it's on point. It's a loaded one as well. So when I started this 4 years ago, it was just about just getting them through. But then you want to be intentional and you want to be purposeful. But you want a young student to also understand what's going on, the importance of what's going on, that somebody else is find some value in you, right? To take their time and invest in you, right? They need to understand that, but the parents need to understand that as well. So we've seen we've been inconsistent in the academic performance, and then so we got to find a way to kind of target and focus that to make sure that we have the right students. And when I say the right students, it's very hard to find the right students in Liberia because from a need standpoint, majority of the young people need it.
Mhm.
So if you just cut it at that, then you got to be very careful because they need it, but they need to understand that they need it. What do I mean by that? They need to go to school.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. But do they understand that they need to go to school? That's the challenge right there. So if I just find a kid that needs to go to school and I put him in school and he don't understand that he need to go to school, then his performance is not going to be at the mark that it needs to be. So then that's a waste. So I try to look for need and I try to look for academic performance and I try to look for character. All right. But man, Rufus, man, you talk to these kids, man. I asked the young lady this morning. She want to be a medical doctor. So I said, "Who you live with?" She said, "My dad and my grandmother." "Who paying your tuition?" My grandmother. It's okay. My grandmother is doing that. What she do? She sells cold water, right?
Mhm.
Her grandmother sells cold water. So think about how much cold water she got to sell. I'm not saying to feed her grandchild, but just to send her to school. But she understands there's a need for that young child to go to school. So a person like that, I want him to be on my scholarship. A person like that needs to be on a scholarship. You know, and I believe in God, and I believe that a lot of what we are doing is ordinated and orchestrated and ordained by God. So we have these kids in these pockets, these areas that are in areas of need, and sometimes God just sends us in places and we find them. And they just show up and we have an obligation. Sometimes we don't have the budget for it, but we take them and God always send the money there. I promise you, it's never fail. I don't carry okay, if I say, well, I'm spending $10,000 this year on scholarship, it may be 12,000, I don't know, but I'm not going to go past a kid that I feel that's a need. I'm not going to miss the opportunity because that opportunity could be the difference as to how and where they end up in their lives. All right. So it's a mixed feeling. We're still trying to get it more focused to character, academic, and performance in the classroom. Obviously, scholarship is for scholars.
Mhm.
You have to perform at the scholarly level. So that's always going to be a premium, but we can help them get there. You know, character, you know, we want people kids to understand that somebody's making a sacrifice, at least if they're of age to be mature to say, hey, thank you, somebody, and appreciate what you're doing. And because if they don't understand that, you want to build a continuum of giving back. So my goal for them is when they get up there, they need to give back too. And if you don't teach them gratitude and showing appreciation, then we're missing the mark as well. So we want to incorporate that, and then obviously we're looking forward to their academic performance. We talk about character. Yeah, and there's a need. And like I said, need from a need basis, almost every child needs it.
There's this mindset, especially in Liberia, amongst Liberians, because over the years, folks that we now have in the political arena use these means to get themselves to where they are politically. So for every time we have these conversations, I won't rule it out. I always, because every day we have new breed of listeners and people who follow. So from your own end, do you have any mind of venturing in the political space? That's why you find yourself doing what you do.
No, short answer, no. I have no desire. I have no ambition. I have no aspirations of diving into politics for various reasons. Okay. In fact, in my line of work, I'm good. I'm secured. And the next thing that's better than what I'm doing is becoming an entrepreneur, a businessman. So none of those things align with politics. In fact, politics, if you look at it in the true sense, brings me back to what I'm trying to get away from, which is confining me to some office space for a certain amount of time in the day, 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours. Nah, I need to be out there making a difference, touching lives, speaking to people, doing things, running business. That's where I'm moving towards. So politics is far from me. What I've been doing over the last 4 to 5 years has continuously been out of my heart and mind, commitment and obligation based on my purpose to give back. And I appreciate you asking me these questions all the time to clarify, and you will get the same answer from me. It's not going to change. It's not going to get warm and lean and say, well, maybe if I move back Liberia. No, it's not. It's the same. I'm an extremist on that. No, it's an absolute no. No ambition for politics, political jobs, or none of that. It's giving back to our young people in our country to help them see things differently. In fact, to help them think success lies outside of politics as well.
So getting on your academic aid or your quote unquote, you said scholars get scholarship. So educational aid that you are providing, somebody listening and have a child, or the children are listening and they lack that opportunity. So if somebody want to get to benefit from what you are offering, how can they get connected?
All right. So I have a team on the ground that runs all the operations for Sweat Equity. I think when we spoke the last time, been last year sometime, I was
Mhm.
working on some other stuff to expand our capacity, to even expand our funding. So we got a team on the ground. Uh, we have a country director, Michael Nento, and his staff. So they kind of channel all their scholarships. So I guess the question you're asking for is how do we contact them, or how do you contact us? So we got a Facebook page right now, a Sweat Equity Facebook page. You can contact us from there. We are working on the website, and it should be available in the next 60, 90 days or so. So once that website is available, we'll be able to go on there, and now people will be able to reach that. It's going to be global, universal, and people can be, they can contact us through that. But yeah, I understand that there's only so much scholarship we give up. So having said that's a good segue. So what I've just done over back in the United States is put in a bid to become a nonprofit organization. So if that's successful and we move things line up, then we are going to be able to offer more scholarships to kids all over the country, and maybe progress to even getting institutions to where we can have our own schooling. And every time I come back to Liberia, the demand signal, expands. There's a need everywhere. It's not a place I'm going to go that I'm not going to meet a kid that's in some type of need. And I'm talking about valid need. You know that. You drive every day to work and back, and you see that you give a ride sometime and all of that. I've heard your story. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. So my salary cannot continuously do that. So we have to find a way to where we can get some type of uh, NGO, hopefully, well, not already on NGO, but some type of build a nonprofit organization, so where we can get legitimate donors that will be able to help our case or our cause in educating our young people, because there is a need. And then, like I said, as we expand in that area and show success, we may even construct a school or two to where we can get kids, close to free education, good quality, close to free education, because you can bring more kids in and have more control over how you help them versus paying tuitions for them.
If you just joined us, this is the afternoon conversation right here on Love FM 105.1. In today's edition of the afternoon conversation, we are playing host to Dr. Pittman Kennedy. He is the CEO and founder of Sweat Equity Lab. Of course, he's here talking with us. He has a lot on his plate. His visit to Liberia, he's engaging with young people from the university level on to the also you just get because you listen to him just arrived on Sunday, right? Was it on
Yeah, I
Sunday?
got here Friday night.
Friday night.
Yeah.
You have been engaging a lot of young people, making sure that they get to understand the importance of who they are and what they can get themselves doing positively to transform their lives. Because, mind you, this is a dispensation that is so emotionally driven, and the Gen Z folks now, they are so much ego, wanting too much too soon. That this generation, the Z generation, they are so engaging with things that quickly attract their attention, and those things that get them attracted, it sway them from the positive path. They're more engaging with the negative than that of the positive for transformation. But he's engaging them in a positive direction, making them to understand that look, you can be this. If I can come from where I came from to come and engage you in this form and manner, know that there's something, there's prospect, there's some good that can come out of you. Like the biblical quotation, can any good come out of Nazareth? Can any good come out of Liberia? Yes, indeed. There are great people, even those of you who are challenged, disadvantaged youth. You have so much talents. You have so much talents amongst you. Know that with these kinds of conversation, it is intended to give you an eye opener and give you that courage that you can do your utmost best. That is not your area. The drug intake is not your area. Leaving your parents' home to get involved with prostitution, criminal activity is not your area. You can put your hands to work. Just a sad talk. The last time it was yesterday in my community, a young and energetic guy. A few other young people they were lecturing, and while this guy, a disadvantaged youth, had this huge stock of dirt on his head, carrying to the dump site just for little or nothing. And then one of the young folks said, now why you left the parent house, young men like you, to be toting garbage just to go get money to go smoke? I said, wow. And that guy did not utter a word. And I know it went down his spine because, mind you, this is somebody, when you look at him, you see that prospect in him. But the mindset, his associates, a lot of our young people, no, I can mingle with my friend and they can change me. Your association has a serious impact in your decision making.
Absolutely.
A lot of them around here, they get associated with people that are taking them from the positive path to the negative.
Yeah.
You teaming up with somebody that can smoke. You say, they make me to smoke, man. How strong are you? Gradually, that man, most especially the dispensation, you will not want to be bullied all the time. Oh my man, they made a meme, man. That yeah, man. That's our thing, yeah. My man, don't follow us. One of these days, you want to try what they are doing, and
Yeah.
at the end of it, you get involved and you remain there.
Yeah.
So if you are listening to us, you can put forth your calls. If you have questions to ask, you can ask those questions. Dr. Pitman is here to talk to you. 0887 105 105 0778 665 073 are numbers to call and form part of the program, The Afternoon Conversation, right here on Love FM 105.1. It's not political. We talk the sense. 0887 105 105. Let's go. Please, the bottom of the radio.
Good evening.
Good afternoon.
How you doing?
Wonderful. What's your name?
I'm Prince. Let's start calling from about
Okay, let's hear you.
So for the me thank the guest for the opportunity for me to my friend, and I show him that we will not steal him. But then I also want to ask, like, if we have our organization, we want to annual spelling bee competition to take up for July. So I don't know if you can get sponsorship from people before in office or particular to.
You say you got what?
Yeah?
You say you got what?
I said we run an annual spelling bee competition.
Spelling bee.
Spelling bee competition for children.
Okay.
And it's for July, and we are actually in terms of sponsorship for this year edition. So I was listening to the radio. Thank you about education. So I don't know if we can get a help for him.
Okay, let's listen and hear what he has to say. Dr. Pitman?
All right. So thank you very much for what you guys doing with young children. As far as sponsorship, everything is being vetted and by my team on the ground. So we're not going to tell you. First of all, what does sponsorship look like to you? What constitutes sponsorship? What are you looking for?
He's off the line.
Oh, he's gone. Okay. So how we gonna contact him?
Yeah, just
all right. So give me a number. If with the way sponsorship work, we would vet it through our people. I have a team on the ground that's going to be able to reach out to you, talk about the program, and get some details, and then we will decide if we can afford to do something and what we're going to do, and then we'll let you know. And then we will have a team on the ground there to be a part of it, to see how it goes. So our number to call here is 0770 241 774. And you want to speak to Michael. Michael will be the one that will coordinate everything. And yes, why I say that, Rufus. I came to Liberia last year, and there's a guy that invited us to the 72nd area, not 72nd, to the Kesley Boulevard area. And we had a meeting, and they talked about how they had an organization that was sponsoring kids, and they needed a back to school for the kids, and they needed so many kids to had a reading group, a reading program for the kids, and we donated some money for the back to school, and that was the end of it.
Wow.
Yes. So I will say this today, that I applaud you if you guys are really helping these kids. But if anybody's trying to help these kids and exploit them as a means to, I'm not saying you're doing that, I'm just sharing my experience. Just to get some money for themselves, we don't do that anymore. So we actually have that's why I'm grateful for my team on the ground. We actually do a vetting check now to make sure that if we sponsor something, we see where the sponsorship funding is going. If you run a reading program and I know you're giving your time, maybe I'll come in and say yes, a little stipend for you. We understand that. But I don't want people around the country using little kids like, oh, we got a kids group. Yeah, we're doing this, we're doing that. And then they take money and then they disappear. So contact the number that I just gave. My guy will get in touch with you. I love the idea of having spelling bee. We'll be there to support you in full effect. And we'll talk more.
0887-105-105, 0778-665-073, 0778-665-073, 0887-105-105 are numbers to call now to participate. Ask those questions. Like our brother called and he made his request, and you heard from Dr. Pittman. So you too, if you have something similar, you can actually call and you engage with Dr. Pittman. 0887-105-105, are the numbers to call and form part of the afternoon conversation right here on Love FM 105.1. 0887-105-105, 0778-665-073 are numbers to call now to participate on the program. And before we leave here, Michael will actually get the number over so that we call the number so that you can contact them in terms of you that are looking for sponsorship. You want to engage with the team, so the team get engaged with you so that you can be a part in engaging. It's all about engaging. It's all about us the transformation that is needed for our nation, because the young people are always referred to as future leaders. But the future is there for the prepared ones. If you are not prepared, you'll be left, the future will come, but you will not participate. That's why you see a lot of people, oh, they may not my friend, oh, they may we used to be close. But the time, that's why I always say to people, we have 24 hours in the day. That 24 hours, all of us, the good, the bad, the ugly, the evil, all of us, we benefit from the 24 hours. But what have you to do with your 24 hours? So you must be able to plan. Say, between this time to this time, I will do this. While your friend, the person you call your friend, he was preparing himself. You are there, oh, my man, I'm going to chill, man. So the man used that time, his 24 hours, to prepare himself. Now it's paying off for him. Then he say, oh, then that my own friend there, he get my time again. No, bro. You have equal time, but he did not utilize yours. The man put in time to educate himself, to get himself connected while you are there all around the place. So the lines are open: 0887-105-105, 0778-665-073 are numbers to call. And let's get talking. That is there any other thing that you want us to touch that we did not touch?
Yeah, just I did mention the reading program. So one of the things that we got in our Fort near site is to start these reading programs in communities to enhance the kids that are going to school or not going to school, or even some type of learning group or things like that, that we can have our older adults or young adults help our young people. Um, if we wait for the government to do these things, they're not going to happen. We got to be instrumental, and we do have the capacity in the element of time that you just mentioned. What you just said is so powerful with the 24 hours and the allocation of it. That's what makes the difference.
Mhm.
It's like if you get somebody $24 every day, and you get two different guys, and one guy's go to the store or just go out every night and spend his own and say tomorrow I'll get another one. Eventually he will get it where after 10 years, and they say, well, you can't get any more. The one guy that took his money and spent it, and the other guy been saving, even if it's $5 he saved every $24, he got something that he got, and there's a difference between the two individuals.
Mhm.
And you can't come back and blame anybody because you expended your 24 hours on nonsense. So it's important. I just want to buttress that point you just made. That's a profound lesson. That what changes our lives is how we spend our time. That's it. There's no other way, because God didn't send us here with money. He didn't do that. He didn't send us with anything. We came into this world naked. But guess what? He gave us every day the most important currency, which is time. He gave it to every one of us. So we make or break our lives by how we spend our time. All right. Again, I will say that you make or break your lives by how you allocate your time. Time is the greatest currency. So use it wisely. And the last thing I would say is that I always say this to folks when I speak. Our contributions are in direct proportion to our rewards. I will say it and I will unpack it for you. All right. So if you go to work, that's your contribution, your service, and somebody pay you for it. So what you do is what you get paid for. And if you do nothing, you get paid nothing. So it's important to try to make yourself better, work on the areas, simple areas. So even if you were here, right, and you went to Mr. Rufus' house every day, if you're a young man, you didn't have nothing to do, and you said, Mr. Rufus, can I wash your car on Saturday? Maybe he would say, no, I ain't got no money to pay you. You go come back again the next time and say, Mr. Rufus, can I wash your car? After about the third or fourth time, you say, okay, just go wash your car. Maybe you watch it for free the first time. You watch it real good. He's sitting in that car, he's going to feel good. His conviction is going to say, well, give him something. He also going to tell his friend, I got this kid that's very determined. He washes his car. So now on Saturday, you start washing Mr. Rufus' car and his friend's car. And you got two guys. If car washing is your thing, wash cars. There's dignity in labor. Before you know it, you're going to have your own car washing business. But it starts from that. So think along those lines. All right, get creative, get innovative. Don't be ashamed of looking for money the right way. Where the mistake come up, we want to jump from the ground floor to the 10th floor, forgetting to know that there's 9 floors between. So don't cheat yourself. Start small and then work your way up. That's all I had to say, Reef.
Yeah. So the lines are open. Okay, we have this person. Hello.
Yes,
Good afternoon. What's your name?
yes. I'm Prince again, and we're talking. I ran out of credit. I want to get credit.
Okay, Prince, let's hear you. You listen to Dr. PITMAN. He made mention of how his team, we announced a number. Michael, can you give me that number? So that you can contact his team here so that they can carry on the betting. The number for you to call to get in touch with his team, 0770
0770
24
24
1774.
1774.
Yes, 0770 24 1774. So that's the number you can call and then get in touch with his team. Not now, don't call that number now because the person is in the studio. So after here, you can call and you engage with him. All right?
Okay, yeah, I get it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
0770, that's 0778 665 073, 0887 105 105, 0887 105 105, 0887 105 105, 0778 665 073 are the numbers to call. Talk to Dr. Pittman. He's here. He's the CEO and founder of Sweat Equity Lab. Of course, he's visiting Liberia. He's going to be engaging with students from the University of Liberia. And from the 6th to the 7th, he will be engaging with folks from the YMCA. So these are all areas that you can get in contact with Dr. Pittman, have a one-on-one conversation with him when the time is available to you. So utilize these opportunities. Because if you sit down there, you say, oh, government, everything government, you there, Napo, battle cry, and you say, they get people that are passing around now, galvanizing you guys to demonstrate, come and do that wetting. Use your time wisely. Some of these people that are putting you together, they had the opportunity, they had the power at hand to transform your lives. They were riding BB cars all around the place here. They were enjoying themselves. They sent their children outside to go and learn. They left you. They had opportunity to get people to engage you in these positive ventures. They did not do it. Now that they are struggling to get power, so they will want to use your ignorance. They say, oh yeah, we are there for you. We want you to, and the way you're suffering, They, during their era, They did not know that you were suffering. They did things at their will and pleasure. Now that things are, quote unquote, all is not rosy, but we are getting to a point the prospects and gains are visible. So that way the people don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. And you know that's the reality. Some of the people that's why I always say to people, as a communicator, we got something called the message and the messenger.
Yes.
The message may be right, but who is the messenger?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Is the person who taking the message the rightful person at that present time? I cannot have a position that I could transform a lot of young people's lives.
Yeah.
I did not.
Yeah.
And the opportunity is off my
It
head.
went away.
Then I can't say that, oh, gentlemen, we are still with you.
Yeah.
Out there riding BB cow. We are still with you. Let's go in the street and demonstrate to call the attention of the people. Then you sit down there. You be a fool.
Yeah.
The man who should have transformed your life, he had all of the necessary opportunity. He did that. Now that he doesn't have the ability and the opportunity, he come back because he wants to get himself to that level again. He used your ignorance to play fool, get in the street. Play fool and get in the street. Ignorant to the Lord is no excuse. So if you play the fool, that part will carry your news. So let's get a part in comment.
Yeah. So I would just kind of piggy off of what you just said. Generations before us up to now have strangulated our young people. Well, specifically strangulated their minds, which means they don't hold your mind, hold your minds to think that success only comes from one way. But more important than that, more detrimental than that, they have allowed you to just be fools. Like he just said, when it makes a little noise, you run right. When they make a little noise, you run left. And you are aging. You're going to grow up. And years going to pass. And seasons going to change. And the one thing that's going to remain constant is going to be the state of poverty that you experience. Unless you change the way you think. Because the body is a slave to the mind. The body will only go as far as the mind tells it can go. So instead of using your muscles to be engaged in violent acts, use your mind, muscle your mind, build your mind capacity. And you will soon find that your body will execute unimaginable things. But it starts in the mind. And it's hard, but you got to do your very best every day to push small pieces. Just push little by little. And you will soon find that once you change your mind, your life will change. That's my challenge to everybody. Thank you.
Like I always say, there are two things in this life you always be remembered for: the problems you create and the problems you solve. And you must take responsibility of two things in your life: your fortune and that of your misfortune. My name is Rufus Devon Cannon. I always love to quote from Mahatma Gandhi. And he said, and I quote, "The difference between what we do and what we are capable of doing will suffice to solve most of the world's problems," unquote. I lead and others follow. First among equals. Of course, I'm destined for greatness. Follow the rest of our broadcast. On this note, this is how we wind down the curtains on today's edition of the program, The Afternoon Conversation. Bye-bye.
Delegates, heads of state, leaders of nations, distinguished representatives of peoples great and small, I greet you not as a career diplomat, nor as a man bred for banquet halls and handshakes.